am honored to stand in front of you today because the work that I do as the outreach coordinator for Penrose Cancer Center and the NAACP Health Chair, I believe is so important to helping us to dispel some of the health disparities that we experience as a people and as ethnic minorities in this country, one of the most wealthy countries in the world, and we have some of the poorest health outcomes. First, I'd like to give you a little bit of history about why we may be experiencing some of the health disparities that we do. Let's go way back. Let's go back to the Middle Passage, okay? To the Middle Passage. Not too long ago, I was at a workshop here in Denver, and I was learning about hypertension. And one of the questions came up, why do Black people tend to have so much hypertension? Why do we? It doesn't matter if you're as thin as this gentleman here, or if you're as thick as this gal right here. But we are simply plagued with certain chronic conditions, hypertension, diabetes, a lot of things like that, these chronic conditions. One explanation that our instructor had for us, and this is a theory because nobody's investing the money into it. You know, when it does involve minority health, the money just isn't there normally for research, okay? But anyway, I digress. So here was the explanation. On the Middle Passage, those people who had the ability to retain fluids survived. Those who did not died. So when we arrived on these shores, we were a group of people who had this particular ability that we didn't need very much any longer. Well, in the fields, we used it, didn't we? Whenever we worked under the hot sun, we retained fluids. No one was going to let you take water breaks. Those who did not survive. So, retaining fluids is a part of hypertension. And that has been passed genetically from father to son, daughter to mother to daughter, and on and on and on for generations. And so we have a group of people now who are hypertensive. Add on to that once we were here and we weren't well taken care of, even though we were considered as property and very valuable property, we had to augment our diet in order to survive. And so how did we do that? Nocturnal hunting. Couldn't hunt during the day, you were working during the day. So the little energy that you had left, you used for nocturnal hunting, nocturnal food gathering, nocturnal fishing. What was it that would be moving around at night? Hogs, nocturnal animals, which contribute, all of that fatty foods, those kinds of animals contribute to our hypertension. And that became a food of preference. A food of necessity became a food of preference for us in our cultures. How about the kinds of fish that we ate? Bottom feeders. Catfish. I know I love me some catfish. And please put some crabs in front of me. Shrimp, I'm going to eat it. Bottom feeders. All of these things were bottom feeders. All of these things contributed to this process in our bodies now. And so here we are, a result of hundreds of years of eating this way, having been predisposed to it in the first place because we do retain fluids. Our bodies naturally do that. It was for our survival. Our very survival depended upon these things. It does not anymore. And so now we are plagued with these things. And people need to know this. So you need to go out and tell people that these are the theories that we've come up with. It makes a lot of sense. And until somebody investigates, until the money is spent, until the government decides that they're going to fund, until the colleges and universities decide that they will fund these research projects, we won't know for sure. but we do have a reason to go on this. It doesn't give us an excuse, however, to say, well, I'm predisposed to it, so it's probably gonna happen to me. I probably am gonna have hypertension, I'm gonna have some diabetes, so I ain't gotta worry about it, you gotta die from something. We can do something about it. We can do something about it, and that's what I'm here for today, is to help us in this room get the word out to people that there are things that we can do. One of the first things that we can do is the way we eat, our personal habits. Simply because we may have a predisposition for something does not mean that that will be the end result. It means that we are at higher risk. We can reduce those risks by eating properly, maintaining a proper body weight. A lot of disease processes are attributed to diabetes. Our children, look at some of our children today. We have fat kids, a lot of fat kids. I was a fat kid. My mother didn't think so. She thought I was beautiful. But she's looking at me through a mother's eyes. Someone else might look at me and go, that's a big one. My mother starved as a child because her mom died when she was 12. And because her mother died, they had to go out into the fields and scavenge. For a matter of fact, her baby brother died because he ate a watermelon that had been sitting for too long off the vine. And he got poisoned. He was poisoned by botulism. So this is the life that she led. So when she became a mother, she worked 3 jobs cleaning houses every day so that I would have food, so that my brothers and sisters and I did not starve. And she cooked 3 meals, not just 3 meals a day, she would cook 4 meals a day. We had supper. We had breakfast, lunch, dinner, and supper. And sometimes supper, oh my goodness, my time is almost out. Sometimes supper was just a cake. It was sweets. But we had something to eat in our stomach before we went to bed. We need to stop doing that. We've got to eat half of our plates fruits and vegetables. Half. Every meal, half of your plate should be fruits and vegetables. Take a look at your palm of your hand. This is how much protein you should have at every meal. And that's the size of your hand. My hand's pretty big, so I get to eat a lot. And then this is how much food you should have as far as whole grains. This is how much whole grains you should have. So half of your plates, fruits and vegetables, this much protein, this much grains, and drink some milk if you're not allergic. If you are, please use the lactose-free stuff and get some in you, because we need all of those vitamins, we need the fruits, we need colorful fruits and vegetables. Potatoes and corn do not count. White bread does not count. Rice, white rice does not count. Take it out of your diet. It is what is causing us to have these problems, diabetes. So how can we arrange for people to do better? We can get them the information. That's all we need to do, is just get people the information. Show them a proper plate. When you have a church function, have more fruits and vegetables on the table. People will, if they eat more of that, they have less room for the junk stuff. Don't put the desserts out first. Okay, put the desserts out last, but make sure that lots of fruits and vegetables are out there. You can still eat your fried chicken. I'm not telling you not to. But if you eat more fruits and vegetables, you'll eat less of the other stuff. And please tell them, I send out a newsletter. You take that information, you send it out in your newsletters. We can affect thousands of people in our tri-state area if we do this. Have people register for insurance. If they register for insurance, then we can get preventative services for them. We prevent the diseases from happening. They get a chance to talk to a physician without having to pay any extra, no copay for the preventative services, okay? So let's get people informed. That's all I ask. Get us informed. Thank you.